The T-49 is one of my favorite Tier 8s in World of Tanks Blitz. It's a vehicle no matter what mood I'm in, I can always have fun in. Because you're never really looking to do statistically well in the T-49, you're more looking to bonk somebody for 780 damage, which is really fun. And then we have this, the German T-49. Now, interestingly enough, this vehicle also features a lot of high explosive damage, and a lot of high explosive pen, 110 millimeters of HE, which is actually more than the T-49's 81 mils of HE. That's because this vehicle has high explosive plastics as its premium, or I should say its HE. And because of that, this is actually my favorite of the T-49 variants. Yeah, I love the bonking potential of the T-49, but I also love the HE output and accuracy, plus great penetration of the M4190. So I figured, you know what? Why not showcase two games, one in the T-49 and one in the M4090 that I played today. I had quite a bit of fun in Platoon, probably played about 50 battles today. Every now and then, I have fun playing Blitz. Also, let me pause and play the replay. There you go. It was a little bit laggy in the beginning. But every now and then I have fun playing Blitz, and the most fun I have is when I'm not playing Tier 10. To be honest, I have a lot more fun playing on my press account, which is my Doobles account if you see me rolling around. A press account is essentially an account that Wargaming supplies me, which I'm able to review new tanks that are coming out and post them when they come out on the day. And not only that, but the stats are not visible. And the reason I like that is because I have my main account where I play for, fun, but I also play for my skill and capabilities with my stats. The account's almost at 70% win rate with 95,000 games. This account, I've played over 5,000 battles on. And not only that, but this account I'm able to have fun on. I still do very well. I actually do better on this account than I do my other one because I don't get mad when I lose and things like that. But usually, I'm playing on my press account now, and it's mainly down to the fact that I just don't get as mad when I play on this account. So we can see that the enemy T-49, well, he decides to shoot a little prematurely, and I think I'm not going to shoot early. You can see how bad the aiming time is on this tank, so I wanted to give it as much opportunity as possible. There was a small chance, maybe 10 to 15%, that T-49 Fearless was going to bonk me for 780. But I was willing to take that risk to aim and make sure that at least I had the most possibility of penning mine. And just like that, in 2 shots, I've been able to deal 1,100 damage, getting a nice HE into the roof of that K2. The T-49 has 2 different playstyles. Well, actually, technically 3. You have the Heat, which you're going to shoot at tanks that you don't reliably have HE pen to cut through, but you can with Heat. But really, the major playstyle for the T-49 is HE or pen. That's it. If I'm aiming at a heavily armored vehicle, I'm going to load high explosive. By the way, T-77 armor, bro, is so stupid. Look at that armor. Why is the side of that tank so armored? And it was like a perfect shell as well, right on the side of his tank, but can't cut through it, I guess. But yeah, the major playstyle of the T-49 is you're loading HE, and that's it. You're just hoping that your high explosive is going to pen. And if you're aiming at something that's heavily armored, like this Luva, for example, I know I can't pen him anywhere. So I'm just going to load HE and shoot at his turret ring. And even though I aimed at the turret ring, unfortunately went a little low and only did 140 damage. But those are your 2 options. It's either you load HE or you just try to pen him. Now, we're going to aim it on the side of this Luva's turret, and that is more what I'm talking about. 536 damage. You may have noticed that the enemy T-49 said HE can't bounce, and then I replied, it can bounce. Anything can bounce. Yes, HE can bounce. People don't know this, but it can. If you shoot at certain armors that are too thick, HE won't pen and it will bounce. But even in real life, high explosive can bounce if it doesn't hit the detonation cap. But we're not here to talk about IRL. We are here to play in the T-49. So I know that the AMX is most likely going to be looking at my CDA. So I'm going to drive behind the AMX. We are not spotted yet. I'm going to speed right on behind him. We're going to get close and bonk! 770 hit points taken off of his vehicle. And that puts me from around 1800 damage to 2500. And this is why the T49 is such a bop, because you can get out these crazy high damage chunks. Now we can see that there is a Jagdtiger 88, a K2, and a T28 Defender. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to sit right here, and I'm going to patiently wait for this Jagdtiger to make a misplay. He kills the AMX CDA, and now I'm thinking, uh-oh, the Jagdtiger's moving up. Bonk! 535 damage into the side of his vehicle. Now we are over 3,000 dealt. Okay, that's pretty good stuff. K2 is still chilling in the back. We got the Jagdtiger 88. And here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking, I wonder if I can hit the kind of roof side of the Jagdtiger, and I can. There you go, 271. That's a lot of damage when you think about it. I mean, when you're driving a T49, 271 doesn't seem like much because, you know, you've got 560 heat alpha and 780 on the high explosive. But in reality, that is a lot of damage because most mediums in tier 8 only deal about 200 to 240. So if I can reliably high explosive people for 200 damage, it's actually not that bad, especially because I don't need to aim. I'm up to 3,500 damage now, and I'm just going to squeeze right on by. Sorry, Mr. T28 Defender, and kerbonk. There you go. Nice heat shell into his rear, dealing 3,900 damage to finish off the game. This is why the T49 is so fun, because you get games like this where you're able to skadoosh around the map, do what you want, HE people, and get out a really solid win. And that's what we did here. I had a couple high explosive pens. I had two, one on the AMX and one on the T49. You add those together, and that's like 1,600 damage there alone. And then the rest was pretty easy. Just a bunch of HE splashes, a heat pen on the Luva. There you go. Pretty solid game. But this is why the T49 has always been such a bop for me. And then we arrive to the M4190. And this tank as well is so fun to use. The HE damage on this tank is really good. It's 320, which is quite a bit more than the RU-251's 270. I'm not sure why this tank has such a damage increase over the RU, but it does. The RU-251 has basically the same damage per shot on the standard, but this tank just has such a large HE alpha increase. And when you pair that with the fact that it's got really good HE pen, solid gun depression, and mobility, this is one of my favorite tier 8s. It really is. I talk good about this tank all the time on the channel. What's weird is that this is also the worst performing tier 8 in the game. I'm not joking. It has one of the lowest win rates for a premium, which always weirds me out because I always do so well in it. We can see that the enemy T49 is spotted, and this is where that high explosive just rips. We get a 340 damage shell into the T49, and we get another one, 318. That's already 658 damage. It's the same damage as basically a T49, except you have all the advantages of the accuracy. You don't have to sit there and aim in. So already, just in the beginning of this game, I've managed to pick up 900 damage. But now I'm thinking to myself, what do I want to do here? The enemy team's got a lot of nasties. They got a K2 making his way up the bridge, which does have 7 degrees of gun depression. Not only that, but I just don't really want to counter a K2. My teammate unfortunately gets poopered on trying to leave, so that's not great. So I'm gonna make my way over towards the medium flank. But wait a sec, we've got the silencer and the Panzera. We got a 310 damage high explosive into his tank. We have the A46, not able to shoot that. I'm gonna take a shot at the A46, but my teammate gets the clear right before. Okay, that's fine. Let's reload. Let's aim it on the silencer. Turns his tank. Boom! 308 damage into the side of his vehicle. Now we are up to 1,500 damage. And again, you can see how nice the high explosive is on this vehicle, easily cutting through enemies. All right, we have the side of the Hori. There you go, 305 damage shot. And we're going to aim it on the Hori again. 3, a 2, a 1. There you go, 223. Now we're up to 2,000 damage dealt. Okay, trying to bait a shell from the Hori. He hits my outer track wheel and manages the pen, which is a little bit irritating, but not that big of a deal. I actually don't even care if the Hori shoots me. It does 371, but I shoot him back for 250. And not only that, but I shot him twice, so I still win that trade. Which means the Hori's not in the best of situations, only sitting at 200 hit points. So at this point, I'm trying to think of what I want to do. I could bleed health to kill the Hori, but it's not really worth it for me to do that. My teammate gets the clear because he was looking at me. Now I'm trying to think of what I want to do. We have the K2, T49, and the Visante left. Okay. Well, I'm going to move up, and we're going to aim it on the T49 to try and help my teammate. There you go, 339 high explosive. That puts me up to 2,886 damage. Obviously not able to pen the K2 with high explosive, but this is where that great DPM comes in play here. Imagine if I was in a T-49. I would definitely be suffering in the T-49 in this situation, at least to try and get out damage. Aiming on the K2's lower plate again, nice 300 max roll, and we're going to aim in one more on his flat side for 210. I do end up dying here, but really doesn't matter. I ended up dealing 3,900 damage, basically the same damage as the T-49. But we can see two drastically different battles and gameplay. Personally, I like both, and they are two of my favorite tier 8s when played properly. So I figured why not make a video where I do have some fun in Blitz and showcase a tank that I think is a rather capable vehicle. Let me know in the comments down below which of the two you like better if you have the M4190. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!